Well, this will be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a bit of a odd circumstance happening here. One of the players from SK, as I mentioned previously, and it's Taco in this instance, was unable to resolve his two-factor authentication issues, and because that's with his account and he set that up, he's not going to be able to play in this match. And the current plan is to have Dead step in, which means we have the coach from SK now jumping into the mix to play as their 5th player for this match.
And this is when they really miss Zeus. Situations like this, like, oh man.
Just had him jump in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't know exactly, what the issue is, but I mean, obviously I think this levels the playing field, not just a little bit, but a lot. I don't know how experienced that is in just CS:GO in general. I mean, I know he's their manager. I cannot imagine he plays too much or too often,
Yeah.
So I have no idea. Maybe he's an ex-pro or something and he won't be too bad, but I have no idea about his history. Yeah,
we'll have to see basically how he fares off. He's going to be jumping right into the fire here against LG, and we were talking earlier about how, these country versus country matchups tend to be rather interesting due to the familiarity of the play styles between players here, and now, again, it's been leveled out, as you said, even more so now that they have to play with their coach, and LG coming into this one, this might propel them forward and allow for a bit of an upset.
I mean, I used to have to play with stand-ins at times, and we usually played a little bit more loosely on like CT side, actively looking for picks and things like that. Kind of everybody taking it upon themselves to maybe just be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more loose so that you can make up for that. So we'll see if SK, maybe takes a little bit more peeks than they normally, do to try to make it 4v5 and alleviate that. But LG does a 5 drop strat right off the bat.
And they're going directly through to the window. coldzera is able to hold that back off, though. 1 for him. Showtime able to trade. coldzera tags in for 1 more, but it's all Showtime. And Yell now picking up those kills. They leave it into a 3v2. Good news is SK is fast on this one, and Furt didn't really get to see a whole lot of that from Long A, so he is still going to have his position there. And we'll also have Dead shifting his way back in through the site connector itself. But LG up on the site now, putting the bomb onto the ground. And Furt starting to go hunting here, but there's not a whole lot visible. LG have put themselves in nice hiding spots here. And as we can see, Yell was up on Heaven a moment ago. I think Dead heard him drop back down, though. Problem being is he's still going to have to deal with PKL sitting back over there by the barrel. So already 1 getting knocked out first, sneaks in, grabs a headshot, looking for 1 more, but not able to spot PKL. And he finishes things off with both kills for the retake and allows for LG to control the pistol.
Yeah, and I think this would make a great YouTube video, though. Like, we find out what Dead rank is, and we're like, MG2 in pro game. DMG in pro game.
What would the preview image be?
I don't know. You got to make it as clickbait as possible.
Yeah, I know. That's what it is, right?
Hopefully, if Dead's like a silver, that would be if it's like silver 1 in pro game. Yes,
huge image of the rank.
Views. Yeah.
Well, LG are going to spread out again into a pretty standard default here in the second round. SK, again, buying into upgrades a little bit here, but nothing too crazy. Phelps and coldzera just buy up armor behind theirs. Dead doesn't pick up anything at all. Fallen only goes for a P250 purchase, and then Fur, working with the shotgun, is going to be playing by the broken wall there to counter out a fast play from LG if they do try to move in to take direct control here towards B.
That's a pretty aggressive angle by him. Sometimes people nade this, so you tend to see him play a little bit more to the left, maybe. But Fur getting very aggressive. Not surprised, none of those shots connected at all. Decides to just kind of play the broken wall a little bit more aggressively than I thought you might have. But he's kind of there by himself. So, there's 2 players towards drop, 2 players towards A. Dead goes down very quickly.
Just a 1 sitting in suicide, however, but they spot him out and knock him out as well. That's Fallen gone down, and that's essentially going to be an open path up to the A bomb site. coldzera is trying to wrap back in, but he is going to be found in the open in a moment here and already tagged on a 22. Showtime just has to locate him. Phelps did manage to sneak in a kill as Destiny had tried to go in towards drop there and sneak in and basically just cut off both the remaining players on rotate, but was unsuccessful in that regard. However, no one really going over to pick up his gun, I don't believe. Phelps is the one that picked up that kill.
Yeah,
he's going to go for it now.
To get it. That's where, the Mag 7 is so good when they actually can hit your spot, and you could, battle somebody maybe one-on-one, or somebody peeks, you hit them, then you hide, peek again, right? But it's just so bad on the rotate. I mean, it's like the most brutal thing ever when you're rotating with a Mag 7. So, although it's a great weapon and it has its spots where it's extremely effective at, on the rotate, especially on Cbble too, because there's, like if you're trying to rotate A there, what close angle can you try to get a kill at? What are you going to jump out Heaven and hope they're below you? Even then, you're probably not even going to get the kill, even if they are. Any other angle, it's just so far away. So you're better off saving just like they did and just trying to keep it for the next round.
So LG do get to push through that one pretty swiftly. A 2-0 beginning for them. And for the guys over here on SK, we've got one more save more than likely for them before they are going to be able to go for the big investment. See again here, PKL, I'll probably believe it, around 4 or 5 kills already here, sitting at 4 currently, just leading the way as LG kind of just mop things up in that second round. And it's almost an identical buy heading into the third round here for SK. They still have that shotgun on fur, a couple upgraded pistols, a lot less armor. Phelps still sitting with his, but he also has the USP.
I'm very surprised he drops the CZ to dead instead of Fallen, and Fallen just keeps the USP. So that's very surprising to see.
Hopefulness for him to be able to frag back out here as LG a little bit more direct this time towards the broken wall. However, they also have nades for fur.
40 damage. CSGO nades.
They were all like within like maybe 6 inches of him too.
It's just so weird how the CSGO nades work sometimes. Sometimes I think just about to blow somebody up, and then, you know, spots like that, I would think that would have done a lot more damage, but he's still in a good spot, man. I mean, this Mag 7 is really dangerous to go up against.
Yeah, and LG are still posturing up to try and push towards this in a moment, too. They have 2 other players sitting above drop right now, getting ready to execute there. However, they are shifting back, so a tad of uncertainty here since they didn't get that kill with those nades. They are, however, also moving PKL back in from those B halls, so he should be joining them in a second, just being cautious at the flank. So Fur, you're going to have your time to party out with this shotgun in a second, and we'll see if he can make any connections. The flashbang is a miss, and it also flashes a lot of them, but a second one does hit. They haven't seen him, though, but thankfully Yell saves the day. Phelps trading out 2 more, though, as he rolls in, and Dead is also going to be able to find a kill here with this CZ. Phelps picking up an additional kill, and they're almost in upset potential here. PKL now alone in a 1v3. Nade goes deep. It is actually going to connect onto Dead and fully finish him off. Still a lot more work to be done, and ooh, he almost looks away and ends his own life there as Coldzera gets great timing on the peek out. Almost is able to take down PKL in that instance, but not going to pan out. And now PKL, he's trying to get a bit more aggressive to spot Coldzera, but Coldzera also shifted back behind the boost up box. However, at the same time, Fallen does get caught trying to push his way outside. Time is getting very low, only 8 seconds left. The thing is trying to plant right here. Cole can just walk right up and kill him. So he's hoping he does that. He catches him in the open, and instantly PKL gets the big clutch of 4K on the round, and he keeps Luminosity in a solid lead.
That was very, very impressive by Pickle. And he's actually been great. I play with him all the time in Rank S, and he's like one of my favorite teammates to play with. He's really, really solid, and showing, you know, great composure there in that 3v1 actually. So that was a must-win round for them. I think if they ended up losing that, it would have really helped SK a lot. And Dead actually picking up the secondary op. So Dead's an opper, man.
And immediately into the double op setup, more importantly here too. They don't wait until the 6th round to try and utilize that. They go right for it, which is very heavily going to limit their utility. But so far, it seems to have worked out. Fallen grabbing a first kill here. They try to push up ramp. Fur is also waiting over here at the cubby to the left side of the ramp push up. He finds 1 kill before getting traded out by PKL. So we end up in the 4v3. And also, everyone from SK is serious. The plan from LG is botched. If they still go for this, they'll find themselves dead on the ground pretty quickly. So they do have to fall back and run the timer at least a little bit. Or, of course, they do have the option to fall completely back and try to wrap it towards the other site.
Yeah, and that rotate came so fast. So LG very smartly slows it down, and look what happens. Phelps and Dead both go back towards B side. And now Fallen and Cold are still in the site together, but it makes it a much more manageable situation. They can get a clean gun battle and kill somebody. You know, maybe they could take the site and win this round.
Yeah, they are just slowly pushing back in to apply that pressure. Yell goes with the peak, just barely gets the kill. He's left with 14 HP, but nonetheless, he does strike against Cold. Problem being, if he pushes out directly from this the alleyway area here, he is probably going to get himself knocked out pretty quickly. In fact, it's Phelps from the other side that finishes the job. Good news is PKL still impacting. He's found himself into the rat hole hallway now, so as he pushes himself in, he takes down Phelps. The Molotov against Fallen is really good too. Look at how much damage it's done. He's also trying to watch out for the position of one of these Ts. Nice shot from him. Tries to hop out of the way, but it won't pan out. And now it's down to a 1v1. And look who's finding all this impact again. It's PKL already on 3 kills. The potential to have 2 4Ks in a row from round to round here. For right now, just focusing on getting that bomb onto the ground. The timing on this wrap and Dead was perfect, but the problem is now he's going directly into it, but still lines up the headshot, and again, the clutch, this time in a 1v1. PKL does it, and look at him, 12-0, 4 rounds in.
telling you, man, PKL is no joke. Another incredible round. And LG played that so smartly. They didn't force anything when the rotate came. They made them rotate back into respecting drop and respecting B. And then finally they come through and they push through connector. They time it very, very well. Like, that was really good communication. You see, as soon as the kills came down, they slowed it down. They waited. They made sure that their teammates, you know, used all their utility to the best possible that they could with that molly in the backside. They knew Fallen was there. Nobody just ran into him and died. That was like a very impressively played 3v4.
Well, Fallen is trying to go out here and tag a few of the players from LG. He already actually has done some decent damage to PKL there, bringing him down to 60. But no frags to be found, and with him getting a little bit lower, maybe too adventurous to continue to go for this. So as we saw there, he fell back, regrouped closer with his teammates towards A. The big stack from SK is, again, mainly forming here around B, as they actually only left Fallen, and he's still being rather adventurous, too, still peeking into that new connector there. But the main focus of action still happening on the B bomb site. LG really just pressuring it, tossing a few nades into the site, but definitely not committing to it. In fact, the bomb and quite a few of the players are now shifting away from those B halls and starting to push towards long A and mid connector.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to do. You know, Showtime has a lot of information at the A halls, so I think they're going to go back and bring bomb over there. And if they do, it's definitely the right call. Destiny over at B, though. But after this, Showtime gets a nice kill into Fallen. And this is not a battle you want to take if you're Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny's trying to find Fur, but also Destiny's sitting at like 0-4, something like that too, so he hasn't had the best track record so far. The Molotov, though, will force him to go up the steps, and that is where Destiny will finally impact. Also looking for a second kill, but he gets dinked by Dead. It'll just safely fall back behind the boost-up box. Coldzera maybe joining him in a second, but no, actually, they catch Coldzera looking around, then Yell switches over to the P250. One taps to finish off Dead, but look at that from Phelps. He killed Yell through the body of SHZ, and then finished SHZ off as well before getting traded out to give LG the round.
That was a little bit scary there. I think if Dead was able to get one and Cole get one there, Phelps might have been able to win that round because nobody was checking Coop in that scenario, especially after Fallen died. But yeah, nice job by Phelps to even get those 2 kills. And now SK on another buy, they do another double op setup, so Dead on another op towards B.
The power here in Dead.
He was about to get aggro, man. He isn't afraid.
So he was about to go directly up and try to take the shot within the first like 5 to 10 seconds of the round there, but thankfully that gets held back due to this heavy stack of players and obviously the Molotov that got in his way there. Even so, that would have been very risky considering just how many people from LG are already positioned outside here. 3 stacked up, and they've even boosted Yell up on top. So if anyone does try to go for that stairs peak, it's probably not going to end too well for them. Doesn't seem to be the case, however. And SK beyond that early aggression are still set up, and basically what you expect the CTs to do here. One playing behind the boost-up box, one over there Dead, in this case playing towards Chicken Coop, and another just outside of the window, Coldzera. And he'll also be the player to rotate over in the event that this does swing towards A, since they have a full 2-player commitment, and they're both pretty far out, Fallen down halfway about the ramp, and Fur waiting in the suicide steps. But everyone else on LG is getting prepped now to execute into B, with the time getting a little bit low, and them obviously not having a whole lot of intel about what's actually going down on that site. Coldzera getting smoked out, so he's going to have to re-enter through the doors or just wait it back out. Phelps also not being able to spot that much either as he gets a little bit closer to Brookmont, but it gets called off. They're all going to swing back, and they'll try to make this an A hit instead. Fur now, it'll be his time to party. Sitting back on the steps and waiting for it. Fallen catches the first one with that aggressive position and then falls back, but still chaining these kills together. He gets himself a second. Fur also chuming back in. The hit's getting absolutely destroyed as Fur distracts back over there. Fallen dips in for another one, and now it's down to PKL. He's had 2 4Ks in the last 2 rounds here, and he would have to pull it off again. Excuse me, 2 rounds before that he had 2 4Ks in a row. But now he's going to have to pull off an ace if he wants to clutch this, but with only 5 seconds left, certainly going to be impossible, and we'll just see him try to save the rifle.
Yeah, Fallen just stepping up big there around that connector area, opting towards middle, and that helps for a lot, right? Because he's going to be able to spot anybody coming through middle, and then he also has, you know, a reactionary if anybody comes through long haul that for hears or anything, he can check very quickly and watch towards that as well. And he can also watch like the drop off as well, so he can kind of watch like all 3 positions. You see how he's checking there, he's checking middle. Gets that kill, and then finally gets taken out from long A. But he's kind of, you know, he could just watch anything that needs to be watched. If Cold gets stuck over at E-Box and he says that connector's open, Fallen can watch it. You know, if they're coming through middle, he could watch it. If First says they're going through long, he could watch it.
And immediately, even though 5 rounds straight are won by LG, we can see how scrapped to go to the buy is as they do force back into this next one here. Utility already being completely tossed back out. Phelps playing really close to the broken wall there.
For LG.
Haven't even seen Phelps, so he's going to sneak in that first kill. The upshot from Dead, 2 in a row actually end up missing. So the kill from Phelps up there is traded up pretty quickly. Fur though, being able to dip back in, finds one more, and coldzera coming through, misses, unfortunately in a very big way, which allows PKL to eliminate him. Now they're down to 2 here, but good news is for SK is they still have a lot of control, so Fur is going to be able to move in there, finding Showtime. PKL is still trying to get himself through the sidewalk, but there's an op winning in their end if he goes directly through it with no nades or anything like that. And there we go, the walkthrough leads to the death of PKL. It's on Yell now, has all the time in the world to clutch this one back out, spotting, or at least it looked like he spotted Fur there, but reacted far too slowly, and he will be able to execute, giving SK their second round and putting LG onto an eco here.
Yeah, and Dead, you know, had 2 shots that we thought he probably would have hit. I think that puts any notion to rest that people might think it might be Taco, because I can almost guarantee you Taco would hit those. So I definitely do think it's Dead playing for sure. And 2-5, they force LG onto an eco, so 2 very important round wins for them. Fur getting aggressive. I don't know if there's anybody in the game that's better at just getting aggressive than Fur is. Especially against pistols, to be honest. Like, that's like an underrated skill, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you watch SK on these anti-ecos, it's very common that Fur will get aggressive and he'll get kills and just never let the T set up for any type of like a Tech 9 smoke flash, you know, type setup play that they want to do. He always makes them uncomfortable. He always makes them try to win like a gun battle versus them. And it's seemingly like nobody can ever punish him for it. He's too good. He's too quick. He knows the angles too well. And he continually is just like a thorn in your side whenever you just can't do it. A lot of the time when you have those Tech 9 armor plays, you know, smokes and flashes, you want to be able to get set up. You think the other team's going to give you respect and not do anything risky. And Fur will always just be in your face, and worst case scenario, it seems like he always gets 2 kills. And in a 3v4, maybe you get his MP9 or whatever, which is usually what he runs around with in those scenarios, but you're not able to do anything with it after that, you know?
Well, SK were able to punish LG pretty heavily in that last round there. Not a whole lot getting done, unfortunately. 2 very aggressive kills out through long A and as well back on the broken wall. But now Dead is actually going to get caught out early on. Thankfully, the attention for LG is all focused on sidewalk there and eliminating Phelps. They're still successful, though, and now they know for sure that Dead is still going to be hiding in this Jinku position. He goes into the Molotov, grabs 1 kill before burning out to the Molotov there. But again, it's the same issue for LG. They really only get broken wall control. They don't feel courageous enough to actually push out beyond that and try to move over here towards the statue of the Chinkus. This is going to let coldzera smoke him, so smoke his own cross off and just go right back in to hold a great spot. Even watching for the boost if they try to do that, but oh, goes out assisted by a flashbang there, just popping off the head of Yell. And now they're even again, down to a 3v3. The boost up though is actually what catches them, and this is what Cold was watching just a few moments ago. PKL and Showtime pick up 2 very important kills. It's all on Fallen, but as he missed previously, he is going to be on this big flank, but Showtime, I think, realized it, hopped across, and Fallen missed the shot, and that is going to send this ship sailing. Fallen, if he could still clutch this out, it would be an absolute miracle, but he has kind of dug his own grave by getting this aggressive. PKL finishes the job, ends up with another 2K on the round, and LG retake control, going up 6-3.
Yeah, and what Dead wants to do there is you generally want to, you know, him and Phelps, they need to communicate who's dodging a flash and who's not. Nice flash and then kill for coldzera to Yell. That's definitely a teammate, you know, calling for a flash. Very nicely set up. But they need somebody posted up, somebody, you know, dodging flash. And I think Dead kind of got caught out. He wanted to throw a molly. Flashes came out, and it kind of, you know, messed up their setup quite a lot. So now Fallen's going to take it upon himself to get aggressive. What a shot onto Destiny. That was absurd. And that's what they're going to have to do, you know, when you're playing with a stand-in, especially a stand-in who is, you know, not even like a pro player or anything. You need to get aggressive with your other 4 players and really kind of take control of the map and alleviate that pressure from Dead, alleviate that pressure from everybody else, you know, because you can't quite count on him, obviously, as much as you're going to be able to count on Taco.
Yeah, so LG immediately giving respect to Fallen and the rest of SK on that B-bomb side after the deletion of Destiny from the server there. Now the rest are going to try to aggress over here on long A, but even they're having problems there too. PKL doesn't even get fully peeked back out and is dropped in a 6 HP through the wall. Fur will have no problems at all pushing against that and taking him down. Flashbang comes out way too late, unfortunately, so it's another free kill essentially for SK. No room for LG to trade it, and they're just going to try to go back over here and re-execute onto B, which I'm pretty sure SK have even read this too. They still have a constant 3-man stack in the site, and Fallen just waiting in the A door there, so he's a pretty quick rotate, although that's going to change right now. He does recommit himself a bit further in. The shot actually hitting Dead. Just a little tiny pick pixel angler through the wall. So it brings him down to 24 HP. Still surviving, of course, but under 30 seconds here. LG are going to try to go for a rotate again, but here's the problem. First, spots it, picks up one. He can just fall back again because he's going to be able to delay them off of this. SK, or the guys from LG are going to have to slow themselves down. Thankfully, they do catch him beforehand, but now they're walking right out into the loving arms of Fallen, who have no problem dispatching of Yell. And for Showtime, there's not much to do, so he's got to hide in suicide and look to save the op.
Yeah, and it seems like when SK are winning these rounds, they're winning them very, very clean. Nice little re-aggression by Fallen. Peeks that angle to perfection. Gets the kill onto Showtime, and now LG should be on another eco. We'll see if SK realizes just how dire their money is. That was a great shot by Fallen. And they do opt for just full M4s, double op setup again. So LG on like a full eco though, just 2 Glocks, 2 Deegs, and a P250, so only $1,700 spent to this round.
Yeah, and over on the LG side, we're going to see what they try to do, but once again, it's Fer getting aggressive there on those mid doors. He strikes once more, picking up a kill. Showtime looking to trade. He knocks up about half the HP, but unsuccessful in actually eliminating his opponent there. So he'll get taken down again for free. Yell trying to hold his own ground, but these ops just pushing forward and decimating everyone. So LG once more on an eco, just can't get anything done, and it's all 5 alive for SK.
Yeah, and their money is getting pretty decent, winning the last 2 rounds with 9 alive. You know, first round was 4, and then now with 5. So their money is getting at a pretty good spot. And Luminosity does not want to buy too aggressively, so they end up with Tech 9s, 5 flashbangs, and a smoke to try to do something where they can maybe set up a B execute. It's going to look like.
SK is still heavy on their own presence here towards B, though, so this is going to prove very, very tough to work with. Good news is they might have actually caught Phelps up, but they don't even realize that, as a lot of them are flashed as well. Cold sneaks in 1 kill, and he's going to find a whole lot more than that from the drop transition room. Already up to 2. We did see 1 frag trade up, but that was against Phelps. He was kind of caught in the confusion of this broken wall push. So, I mean, much like, we've already had this happen 3 or 4 times before. They get out, they're able to trade, 1 or 2 players towards broken wall, but then they don't actually push forward against that. They don't really have the width to try and go further into the bomb site here. So now they're just trying to see if they can catch any extra aggression from SK, which they are doing. They've knocked another player, but still, it's a Coldzera on the cusp of an ace as he's up to the 4K. He even dinks PKL down to 12, so he has the assist pretty much guaranteed. But for PKL at 12 HP, there's just not a whole lot that he can do here, especially with only a Tech 9. Just got smoked off at drop 2, so that killed his plan B. He might just have to go out towards Broken and see what he can accomplish. Dead, gets baited into the shot, so he's going to miss that. Gives PKL a little bit of room to work with. Obviously, PKL really not struggling on the time aspect of this, but just really needing to make a play. Coldzera, though, he wants that ace, so he sprays into it. PKL is going to give it to him. The ace from Coldzera, and SK will tie the game up at 6.
Yeah, just a complete B rush there, and I think that might be one of those cases where, they're saying, hey, I think Dead's playing B. Let's try to just rush and see if he knows how to really stop it or play against it. And Phelps getting kind of caught out. That's twice now. They've hit kind of B out of there 3 times. One time he had the ump on the anti-eco, or on his eco round, and he got like 2 or 3 kills. The next time he went 1 for 1, I believe, and then there he gets kind of caught out. Just getting caught in no man's land, basically. Flash comes, Tech 9s run him over, and they're already out behind him by the time he gets unblind.
Well, into this next round, and LG do go back to playing a more default style of play, with the exception of this boost, which Yell is going to be able to capitalize on, knocking out Dead with it, but he's still also Fallen trying to get aggressive, and there is a chance for him to take down PKL, who's been the big fragger so far from the LG side of things. He moves in, but he's not looking at the steps, so PKL is actually going to be the one that gets the better of Fallen in this case. Now the tables have turned a little bit. Previously it was SK getting aggressive, who are netting these kills and putting it into 5v3s for their advantage. Now it's gone the other way, and LG has been able to counter out the aggression with their own style of play, and now they have that 5-on-3 advantage. Yeah,
I think whenever you have like a stand-in, though, it's a lot easier on the T side, actually, than it is on the CT side. So we'll see what happens when SK turns over and is able to play T side, because this hasn't been a bad half at all for them. I mean, they went down early pretty big, and now all of a sudden even Fer might be able to salvage him in this round.
Dancing around the pole there, being able to pick up 2 kills before we finally see the reinforcements arriving from A-Long, the dispatch of Fer. Now Coldzera has been given a position back over here on the bomb plant corner. Flashbang is great too, so he swings right out. He kills 1, he finds the location of a second. All they have to do now is locate Showtime, and it should be easy pickings actually for this 2v2, as they still have full site control. And there you go, PKL tries to get out and get aggressive, doesn't work out, so this comes down to Showtime. He spotted him, but now that shot is going to give away his position, so rolling up to the site. He should have been able to see that second player on balcony, but again, he can't actually take down Coldzera. actually, I don't even know if he realized he was up there. That or he thought he dropped back down on the backside or something. So he tries to go for a plant, but that'll be an easy dispatching of him by coldzera to end the round and now put SK back into the lead.
Yeah, 3v5 too, and man, Ferret just makes it look so easy. It seems like he takes his time, but in reality, he's shooting people and killing people so quickly, you know? And it's just crazy, like how good this guy is. So 3v5 goes SK's way, and Luminosity, after a really good start, is not putting too much together on this T side. I mean, 7-6, and they're saving right now just 3 Deagles and 2 Tech-9s. So 3,100 invested into this round. You're going to assume that SK is probably going to be able to win this. Fallen holding middle, Fur kind of a long haul, just holding his spot. coldzera in the drop room, used all his nades already, but right now Phelps is being stuck in the flowers, so Dead's going to kind of shoot and bait for him, and then if they do come out B, look for him to try to get like a big spray down and get 2 or 3 kills.
We did see some damage done to SHZ as he looked to attempt to go for some aggressive drop control. Didn't really pan out, and now some more of his teammates are going to follow through to try to get the control instead. Obviously, we did see the CT that was positioned here before back away. coldzera now sitting in the doorway itself, but trying to not play direct contact against it. Since everything is still quiet, LG, again, no utility here, so obviously we don't expect them to try and deploy anything, but they need to try and make a move here sometime or later. But the first one that they do attempt to make is over at A-Long, and Fur has no problem at all countering that back out. It's easy kills for him. He'll be able to take down PKL, as he's been relatively unsuccessful actually in the past few rounds of trying to get aggressive over here. Now, though, as they're below 30 seconds, they are going to try to aggress out when this smoke starts to fade, but Phelps sees it just as it's going away there. Picks up 2, knocked out by Destiny, but the damage already being done. Now coldzera wraps back into the site, and they still have Dead to deal with in Chicken Coop. He'll be the one that seals the deal and allows for SK to push up towards 8 here, going into the final round.
Yeah, 8-6, and you would think that Luminosity would probably be able to win more rounds, but we look at the start of this game. I mean, I think when it was 3-0 or 4-0, PKL had 12 kills when the rest of his team had about 6. So
I mean, even now, just like looking at how...
Yeah, so when we look at like how they were winning rounds, right, a lot of it was on the back of PKL doing like pretty miraculous things, right?
Yeah.
And now that, you can't rely on that, obviously, right? That's not going to happen all the time, especially against a team like SK. And now that he's kind of slowed down, it seems like SK is just getting round after round here.
I think if you do the math, combining every other player's kill total in LG, it's only 1 more than what PKL has right now. I'd have to double check it on the half, but it's not looking too good as everyone else is still looking to impact it. Meanwhile, all of the SK's members are going off. We do see Phelps actually be able to retreat into the smoke, but Dead swings out wide. He'll be eliminated by Yell. This is our first full cover of the site we see. Fallen, though, jumping up to get the intel, then finishing off PKL. coldzera now back into the fray as well, picking up 2 frags and a 3rd against Destiny. Showtime does get a nice spray transfer to take down Phelps and Cold, but Fallen's still there, and he's going to finish it off. So it's SK with a solidifying lead of 9-6. We will see if they can keep this rolling going into the second half, so stick with us, guys, as more action for the NA EPL continues in just a few minutes.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
right, welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. Here, our first match tonight for the North American ESL Pro League is LG versus SK, and we're already halfway through it. It's 9-6.5 in the favor of SK, who did have to start this match with their coach filling in from. The good news is for the SK fans at home is that Taco should be rejoining the team now for the second half. It's going to take us maybe a minute or two to get him back in, so I'll just have us sitting here with a nice discussion about the first half while we're waiting for him to jump back in.
Yeah, I mean, SK started that game, pretty slow. I think did they go down 4-0 or was it 5-0?
It was 3-0, I think, and then we saw the first round for SK, and then it kind of went back and forth for a couple of rounds, and then they took control after that.
Yeah, and off the hard work at Pickle, he had some great rounds there. Early on, some fantastic clutches, and then SK, once they started getting that, they went to the double op setup. I think every single
they did it right from the first gun round. Yeah,
I don't think Dead even used a rifle like that whole game. It was just op. So double op setup. LG, whenever they tried to hit that B site though, like the rotate was just extraordinary from SK. They over-rotated very, very quickly, and even though a lot of the time they were able to kill Dead like early on, I think one time he got one kill when they executed and then died after that. But the rotate was so fast, they would never give up statue control, and I don't even think they got bombed down when they executed B those 2 rounds. So even though like the initial execution was kind of good for them, they were able to get out in the site. The rotate came so fast, the flashbangs came, and once SK was in position, they know how to play it so well. Around the smokes at statue, being around the rock, just having really good teamwork of who's watching what and who's responsible for everything, and they're just able to retake it without even letting them get the plant down so quickly.
Servers are having fun as they still get prepped to jump back into the match there. But yeah, I think overall it was the player that was playing towards Broken Wall that actually, I'm trying to remember if it was Phelps or Fur that were doing. It was Phelps, yeah.
So Fur plays A for them. Usually like there's A anchor and he's always, rifling, usually pretty aggressively. And then Fallen's always backing him up with his off. Cold's usually around the drop area, and Phelps is helping Dead at B, but usually it's Taco at B. Yeah,
well, we were having Phelps actually was doing a fantastic job of really, especially playing pretty creatively around. They usually smoked off towards sidewalk there, and he was always really good at trying to play either inside of that or just on the edge of it to really abuse them when the pop flashes came back out. But we are getting back into the second half here now. The LG on CT side, Phelps with a beautiful shot against Yell inside of the smoke there. Already we'll see the guys on LG down to 4. As Phelps again, not even a raid boss Tech 9 by, just a regular one. PKL though puts a stop to him before he can go any further with that. But problem being they were all stuck inside of this hallway. So in the meantime, LG, or SK I should say, were able to push back out for solid control. They've managed to restrict this down to a 3v2. And what's even worse is, well, with the exception of Showtime, we managed to get through the doorway here. They did put LG back against the wall, and already Fur knocking out Showtime, and it'll even finish off the second frag as well. That's SHZ down to the ground, and SK will be able to continue to enhance their lead as we start off the second half.
Yeah, just a complete rush. I couldn't tell if that was, how many was that on that mid rush? Was it 4 or 5?
I think it was all 5.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if they had anybody towards the long ball. Just too focused on Phelps here, and this is a big mistake by Yell though. Crossing that smoke, maybe trying to play inside it and let them pass by him, I'm not sure. But LG does buy, they have a double nade, and everybody has a 5-7 or a CZ besides Pickle, who's rocking the lead.
Well, SK are going to continue their fast-paced aggression as they go directly out for a B execute here, not giving LG any time to think. The problem is, though, is they also don't give themselves any time to deploy utility here, so LG are free to peek back out, use the wall to their advantage, and so far it's worked out. They've managed to isolate this down to a 4v3. What's even worse, one of SK's members pushed too aggressively with the bomb in hand, and now they've kind of lost control of it, so they have to use a lot more of their utility to re-secure this, and even though they get it back, they lose another player in the process, so now they're down to a 2v3, and both these players are extremely low. We'll have to hope that this boost from Taco can find some big impact here, but as they go for the plant, Taco up on top, but he's dispatched up by SHZ very quickly. Now it's on Phelps, so the first player has to take on is the highest HP player, and he doesn't really get much done against him at all, so LG upset, and we go 1-1 in the half.
Yeah, very nice call by LG. They have a double nade stack at B that does a lot of damage, and SK is just, opting to rush as fast as possible into that B site, and OG was very, very ready for it. We saw that the bomb, like you said, got lost at the cube area, delaying that plant, kind of forced the action when they had no utility after that. So SK opts to buy again. They're gonna have full Tech 9s and umps.
And so heading into this next one here, SK with their force up. everyone is going to head directly into the B halls to start. We'll see if they have one or two players diverge to watch out for mid-connector flank here, but it doesn't look like it. They may be keeping this to the same exact pace that we saw back in that last round here. Everybody already trying to push out there. Are going to be using a couple more smokes and flashbangs this time, it seems, to get out onto the site instead of just literally rushing it like they did in the last round here. That seemed to have been handled pretty well by LG, actually, considering how quickly it came. But still, SK out onto the site, giving them a bit of control. They have not dispatched of any of the CTs yet, but that's going to change right now. Fallen taking down Destiny, destroys any of their backside pressure, but Showtime actually gets aggressive, pushes back, and he's trying to escape, but he can't do it. Showtime and PKL did trade out 2 more frags in the process, so now we're back down. It's an even fight yet again, but as a hesitant one at that, nobody seeming to want to make a move here until right now when Vern Cold strike down the 2 from LG that were pushed beyond the doorway. PKL getting 1 more long-range kill, but he's down after that to Coldzera, and SK back up to 11. Trades going back and forth, and we'll see if LG decide to do the same here heading into this 4th round.
That's one of the things that SK is best at on Cbble, I think. When they have those low buys, they're one of the best teams at, you know, buying and taking what they have and you know, utilizing it just so well, even if it's bare bones with like 2 smokes and 2 flashes or something. And the real turning point in that round is, if you saw when that Molotov came from Rock, it was so well timed, and right when that Molotov came, Fur peeked statue and Cold peeked from his spot when he was pushing the cube to the right. It was right when the smoke was dissipating. So the molly comes down, all the CTs are trying to reposition themselves. They do opt to save this round as Fur gets, it sounded like he got dinked, but he has 95 health. So, but as soon as that Molotov came down, it was the perfect timing. They peek, and that's all that takes. You know, just a little bit of communication and teamwork there, and a $400 Molotov wins a round in a 3v3 pretty much.
And here on the 4th round, it's not seeming like LG are really able to get all that much done. The dink was a little bit interesting there to bring, I think it was Fur down to 95, but it was through a wall and the wood pole, so I think that pretty much killed all the damage it was going to do. Coldzera having no problem managing that last player, so it'll bring LG, still keeping them down at 7 rounds, SK within 4 of closing out the map, and this does take us into an investment for LG, but even there, it's not going to be that great. We have 2 UMPs on the buy, 3 M4s, along with, at least they get full utility and armor for the most part, at the very least. But again, the other problem, only 1 kit sitting on SHZ right now.
Yeah, so not the best buy, definitely. Yell in a spot where a lot of people tend to spam this. He's right next to Phelps. Phelps shoots, doesn't connect, and now he's going to push through the smoke.
Yell just waiting for the opportunity to go back out. Phelps is actually watching the mid door though, so he doesn't see it. Yell, he's successful in this push, taking down Phelps there, and then promptly falling back within the safety of the mid connector. Well, across the map, taking a look at what SK is doing here, they are still trying to line up for essentially your direct B play. Now that they have lost a teammate here, they will need to make up that ground somewhere else on the map, but currently they are being rather unsuccessful about that one. Molotov just going into drop to try and burn out the CT that would be hiding in the transition room. Closest player to contact this is going to be Showtime. SHZ is playing the window to try and counter out a drop split if the guys from SK decided to go for that. It's not looking likely, though. This is just going to be another attempt to get out and get full control of B. The pacing with which SK have been taking this, though, has been all over the place. We've seen outright rushes, we've seen fast plays, but with utility to execute upon it, and this time it's a little bit more delayed, doing it really only like halfway through the round here, so they've wasted a lot of time, and also, again, not really having a whole lot of utility to get themselves out onto the site. They have a smoke and a molly, and they may actually want to try and save some of that for the post-plant scenario. We can see Fallen's going to toss out the smoke. Molly's sitting on Fur, so we won't be able to use it just yet, but now these CTs get a bit impatient, and they push themselves back into the drop room, where SHZ is going to be able to take down Fur. The others are stuck at Broken Wall, and they're not going to make much progress there at all. Coldzera actually not even able to spot SHZ, it seems, so it's down to him now, and he only has 15 seconds to impact. Won't do it at all, though, as Destiny just flanks him from the other side of the sidewalk, and have a very clean round there to bring it back up to 8-12.
Yeah, positionally speaking, OG had SK outplayed 100% that round, but that was a really cool smoke by SK. If you notice, that smoke allows you to see Rock from E-Box, and it also allows you to kind of creep out and look at the pizza area and you know, make a play there. So get 2 kills at 2 very common spots.
Well, SK back onto another full buy here and back into a very fast-paced push, it would seem to be, at least at the start of this one. Molotov is going to isolate Fallen for the rest of his team. I don't know if he's realized that Destiny sitting down below. Should definitely be able to hear him as he's not shift walking. He is looking more towards Showtime or someone back towards Chicken Coop. But when he's challenged, he's immediately taken down, which takes away all the control SK had over there towards Broken Wall to allow them to try and start this execute onto the site. Probably going to kill it and send them back into those B halls for right now, but nothing saying that they won't just try to re-aggress here in a couple seconds.
Yeah, Taco aggressively working B right now. And this is 2 rounds in a row that it's been 4v5 for LG. So showing a good job of like early aggression and stopping SK's early aggression as well.
Taco trying to shift out here and look for their first entry to get them into the site, which is good damage to Destiny, but not enough for the kill. There we go. There's the first frag there now. And in the meantime, Phelps moving in here. 2 beautiful kills against Destiny and SHZ. Both knocked out of the site, and that's all site control gone. PKL has a position outside this door, but he can't see anything through it. And this is going to be a save call, as they have no control and no way back into this site safely. And SK still is 4 alive at this point. Even though they're low on utility and some players are low HP, it's too much of a mystery to work with here. And even so, Phelps pushing directly out through the drop room has already dispatched a PKL. Yell will have to try and stay alive somehow now.
Yeah, and with him being already spotted, you're going to see somebody push out flanking him right now. So it's going to be a tough task for him to stay alive with Fur coming behind him.
Good job though to pick up those 2 kills. But yeah, Fur is the big key player here that should, in theory, be able to easily take him back down. And there we go. Finishes the job. It was a bit expensive in doing it, considering that SK have not...
Yeah, and I think those 2 deaths were pretty, you know, unnecessary, because he did have Fur flanking. So had they waited for Fur, they probably wouldn't have died, right? They just kept shooting through the wall, kind of keeping them looking at him. Then Fur could probably just walk up behind him and shoot him, and they don't even have a chance at both of them dying. But getting a little bit too aggressive there in that situation. Understandable, though, because let's be honest, they feel like they're going to have this game kind of in the bag, I think. If you're SK at this point, you kind of know what their money's like right now. You know they're not going to be on a good buy if they did decide to force here. So I think that's kind of part of the reason.
They will have to hope that this round is going to be relatively clean, though, as despite the fact that LG go into an eco here, SK are still somewhat low on cash, with most players sitting right around, you know, between 1 and 2K, so that's almost instant eco territory. They do lose the round with no one saving. This one, of course, we don't expect too much damage to be done with some upgrade pistols on CT side. You really never know what could happen. They're going to push back in, and well, there you go. Already 1 player gone back down. A second against PKL. Phelps being able to trade out 1 kill from the T side, and a Kobe as well from Fur. Phelps with another one. The last 2 are actually stacked in the plant position, so this is going to prove to be a little bit difficult here now, as we do see Yell just trying to survive. His teammate dies. They may actually not expect the second player to be here. Yeah, lines up the long-range kill against Fur. That's the sneaky one, and he has brought this down to a 1v1. There's the headshot, but no armor. It's so difficult to take that duel out in the open here. He looks for the flank on the right side, won't be spotting it there. And in a moment here, Phelps is going to push up onto the site. Keep him on the timer here. Phelps can actually run over towards the B site if he wants to just avoid this 1v1 for right now and allow himself to get into a better position, and that's the decision he'll make. He'll just head over there, and unfortunately for Yell, he hasn't even realized this yet.
Yeah, that was a really smart play by Phelps. I'm surprised that SK is allowing so many deaths on a round like that. But LG doing a really good job on this anti-eco. I mean, they could still definitely win this round, but it is very favored for Phelps, especially with this positioning. He hears Yell.
He's going to try to push his way back in, but that does give him away and allows for Phelps to have a relatively easy closeout, putting SK up to 14 now.
Yeah, and despite those deaths, they're still with a bye. And this could basically end it if they do win this round. But if they lose this round, all of a sudden, LG has like a bit of a lifeline. You know, SK is going to be saving, and it's going to be a very, very close game, I think. So this is the round that LG could get back into it and you know, possibly make it 14-11 by the time SK buys again.
SK, I mean, this has been their strat for the entire Hastar. I don't even think we've ever tried them go directly to A or anything like that. It's always been as a result of a failed B attempt that we had to see them shift over there. But once again, we've already seen this many times too. The fast execute here, deploying the smoke wall, mollying up on a boost. They don't get tripped up by that. Showtime though, finding the first shot here from the op from Chicken. Now they have to worry about that, as he still has an open angle on the right side, and there's a small hole to work with too. They do spot him though. Taco finding a kill there. Destiny with 1 more, but Cold trading that back out. It's left even, a 3v3 to work with, as SK really just scanning the rest of their side of the site here now, and the smokes fade away. Coldzera ready, and Chicken Coop and Fallen ready at the statue, taking down both of the players from LG that had pushed back into the site for PKL. We've seen him clutch before. This may be asking a bit too much, and in fact, the second he tries spraying through the door, Coldzera sees him and just destroys him.
Yeah, and I think if you went back and looked at how SK played against like those B executes, because both teams did a very similar type of B execute, right? But if you notice, like LG, they got in position at a pretty good time, but then they didn't have the follow-up flashbangs and the follow-up team support. It's not enough to just get in that position. It's getting into the position at the proper time, but also knowing what to do when you are in that position. And we saw SK, you know, when they rotated to B, they had the follow-up flashes from the rotators, you know, to really delay them into getting into the site. By the time OG was fighting them in the site, SK was already there planting the bomb, and it was like they were fighting after the plant, right? So a little bit slight difference just makes all the difference in the world, right? Just those little bit of timing changes.
Well, for LG here now, still spreading 3 and 2. So there's a nice smoke bouncing back off there. I think it'll cover off long pretty nicely. Phelps is going to try and push himself in, but I don't think he... Oh! A little bit awkward there. Yell is caught tossing out the flashbang, and Phelps just walks right into his face and has himself a free kill. Destiny, though, is available for a trade to take down Taco as he tries to get a little bit too close to that broken wall position there. So up close, we'll see things brought back down to a 4v4, but there's no coverage on the CT ramp or even on the A bomb site right now. They have PKL here in the general vicinity, but he's pushed back out. He will be able to catch Fallen there, unaware of what's happening, but now they do know that that position is there, and really this is just a big hot mess across the map here. Phelps now being spotted out by SHZ. He's only going to get 1 kill before Showtime trades him out, so all this effort for SK really leads to nothing, unfortunately, as LG essentially still have full control of the map.
Yeah, they do, but you know they still only have a 5-7 and an ump. Showtime's the only one with an AK, and they're going up against Fern Cold, who are pretty tough opponents. They're kind of giving up the plant a little bit at B, so they're gonna basically play retake on it, and for catches Showtime throwing a flashbang, so they're gonna be able to get bombed down and play post plant in a 2v2 scenario at this B site.
Even catches Destiny trying to push a little bit too quickly there through the B doors. The smoke just plumed out. Eliminate him, and PKL, he's already been seen too, so it looks like they're just going to double peek this, handle it very, very nicely, and that will be it, ladies and gentlemen. SK, the old dogs do shine through, true and true, as they take things 16-8 as the final scoreline here on map number 1.
Yeah, and I think SK just kind of bullied them a bit. That's like bully strike, when you're playing very, very fast paced, a lot of like straight up BS executes and things like that, where you're really just early round, just getting in their face and whatnot. And we see SK has both play styles. Sometimes they do this, and a lot of time they do this in the online pro league. And then a lot of the time they'll go to LAN and they'll be super slowed down. Everything will be at the last 25 seconds, but we saw the complete opposite of that here as they just dismantle LG, even with the first half playing with a manager.
All right, well, to break down the first map, let's send it back over to the analysis desk. Stunna, take it away.
Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Dazed. Quite the matchup we just had there. Obviously started off pretty quick in terms of the first half. A little bit of asterisk in that first half, though. We did have Dead in there playing for Taco. Yeah. And then when Taco joins the server after halftime, it's pretty much a throttle.
Yeah, things kind of took a turn for the worse if you're Luminosity as soon as Taco rejoined the server. Probably to be expected, of course. Dead not being, hasn't been playing, I guess, at a high level since 2011. That's the last time we saw him pretty much shooting heads. So I guess we can excuse him for not having the greatest performance ever. I think Fallen was even having some fun with it in all chats, typing to his teammates.
I've got the quote here. Quote from Fallen: "Dead is so useless."
Yeah. So, no love lost between those, of course. Still,
absolutely not.
Still friends. But yeah, obviously that was going to be the olive branch that Luminosity had to have a good first half and hopefully have Dead play the second half as well. Didn't come to fruition, so SK kind of do what we expected them to do and trounced them completely.
We're going to take a look at round 20, and this is a round where we saw LG and Yell specifically kind of do something a little unorthodox, kind of like turn the heat up and try something new. Let's take a look at round 20 right now. Walk us through it, then.
Yeah, the cool thing is, obviously, we talked time and time again about how hard it is to do something as a CT to make it uncomfortable for T-sides to just straight up do a 5-man execute. And here, Yell is actually going to do something that Fur has done a ton of times, which is hide behind this smoke and get out into position outside in T mid. He's also going to be able to find Phelps as a sense of that. And already you're playing off a 5v4 advantage, which is massive for them. That allows for them to already have a 4-man stack towards this B bomb site later on when the eventual execute comes from SK. And that's the kind of advantage you need if you're Luminosity, if you want to have any sort of chance at fighting back versus this SK lineup. So as the execute comes through, Luminosity are going to get aggressive on drop, takes out Fur, and 3 men with not a lot of utility left on SK side don't really stand a chance with an already set defense from Luminosity.
No, I mean, absolutely. By this point, we're looking at a 12-7 scoreline, right? Obviously about to be
12-8, yeah.
12-8. So, like, at this point, they're obviously already in a hole. You know,
Yeah.
they're in a deficit. You know, they see Taco join the server. Who knows what that does to a mentality,
Think
or if that
fear sets
changes.
in.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to play with just a little bit more confidence there. With the manager standing in and playing rather than, you know, Taco, and you have this world-class lineup now in full force.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think Luminosity pretty much had their chance in the first half to set up with a good first half. And they started off well, by all means. But the fact that they let SK come back into it is really what ruined it for them. Because as soon as Taco rejoins, it's like you said, you're playing against a world-class team, so you're going to have a hard time regardless. So if you haven't already built up a pretty significant cushion at that point, it's going to be a tough road.
Okay, well, we did just see SK take Cbble 16-8, and when we come back, we're going to see if Luminosity can bring them the heat on Cash.